In the rugged and unforgiving verticality of the Zagros Mountains in northern Iran, a precision military operation of staggering scale and consequence unfolded this morning, marking a significant escalation in the clandestine conflict surrounding regional munitions production. At exactly 9 o'clock local time, the culmination of weeks of high-stakes surveillance and tactical preparation manifested as 78 elite U.S. Army Rangers, drawn from the prestigious 75th Ranger Regiment, executed a lightning raid against a high-value Iranian ammunition production facility buried deep within the mountain's limestone heart. This facility, which served as a critical hub for the manufacturing and storage of heavy ordnance, was not merely a factory, but a fortified subterranean fortress, defended by 228 Iranian personnel who believed the sheer mass of the mountain above them rendered the site impervious to any conventional threat. Inside the labyrinthine corridors and reinforced chambers, the Iranian forces were tasked with protecting 3 vital tunnel entrances and a massive stockpile of 168,000 finished rounds of various calibers, an arsenal capable of sustaining prolonged regional conflict. For the American command, the mission parameters were as narrow as the mountain passes they traversed. They had a window of less than 2 hours and 30 minutes to infiltrate the facility, neutralize the defenders, sabotage the production lines, destroy the massive ammunition cache, and extract before the full weight of Iranian regional reinforcements could descend upon the site. This operation was the result of 6 exhaustive weeks of American surveillance, during which the United States intelligence community had utilized the multi-layered approach to map every heartbeat of the facility. High-resolution satellites had maintained a constant watch, tracking the rhythmic arrival and departure of heavy truck convoys that snaked through the valley below. Electronic intercepts and signals intelligence had confirmed that production was occurring around the clock, with the facility operating on a 3-tiered layout of industrial complexity. The upper level of the mountain had been converted into a massive industrial floor, housing 4 separate assembly lines dedicated to the production of 155mm artillery shells, 122mm rockets, various mortar rounds, and sophisticated anti-tank warheads. Below this manufacturing hub, the middle level served as a high-capacity storage zone, where finished ammunition was kept in reinforced chambers designed to withstand external bombardment. The lowest level of the complex contained the most sensitive operations, including chemical mixing rooms for explosives, power control systems, and the central command section where the facility's defense and logistics were coordinated. The Iranian military command had placed immense faith in the natural protection of the Zagros range, believing that the 3 distinct tunnel entrances provided both tactical redundancy and a bottleneck that no ground force could successfully breach. The south entrance was the facility's primary logistics artery, handling all truck deliveries and the removal of finished shipments. The east entrance served as the personnel hub, where workers and guards cycled in and out of the mountain. The north entrance, perhaps the most difficult to access, provided essential ventilation, chemical processing outlets, and emergency access. To protect these gateways, 82 Iranian troops were stationed on the exterior slopes, manning a network of bunker lines and elevated observation posts, while an additional 146 guards, technicians, and chemists operated within the mountain itself. Their defensive armament was formidable, consisting of AK-74 rifles, PKM machine guns, RPG-7 launchers, and 2 DSHK heavy machine guns, supplemented by a ZU-23-2 anti-aircraft gun positioned to sweep the valley floor. Despite this layered defense, the U.S. Army's plan sought to exploit the facility's internal divisions by splitting the Ranger Force into 4 specialized elements, each with a surgical objective. Alpha Element, consisting of 22 Rangers, was assigned the south entrance with the mission to seize the production floor. Bravo Element's 20 Rangers were tasked with breaching the east entrance to capture the storage level. Charlie Element, numbering 18 Rangers, faced the daunting task of entering through the north tunnel to secure the chemical rooms and the command center. Meanwhile, Delta Element's 18 Rangers provided the crucial overwatch, occupying the high ground to neutralize heavy weapons and prevent any Iranian reinforcements from reaching the tunnel mouths. The assault commenced at 5:30 with the sudden and violent arrival of 2 AH-64 Apache attack helicopters, which crested the surrounding ridges and unleashed a barrage of AGM-114 Hellfire missiles. The first missile made a direct hit on the ZU-23-2 anti-aircraft position above the south approach, instantly neutralizing the facility's primary air defense. A second Hellfire slammed into a reinforced bunker near the east tunnel, signaling the start of the ground engagement. Simultaneously, Delta Element opened fire from their elevated positions, utilizing a mix of Mk11 Mod 0 precision rifles, M240B machine guns, and M4A1 SOP MOD2 carbines to suppress the exterior defenders. The Iranian forces, caught in a crossfire from both the air and the flanking ridges, were plunged into immediate confusion, with many defenders attempting to retreat into the tunnels, while others fired blindly into the shadows of the slopes. The exterior defense line disintegrated rapidly under the combined weight of the Ranger assault. A Carl Gustaf N3 recoilless rifle round silenced a DHK position on the west side of the valley, and a Javelin missile obliterated a concrete fighting point near the south road. The Apaches remained on station, raking the trench lines with 30mm cannon fire, and within 5 minutes, Delta Element had successfully pinned down the surviving surface defenders. As the clock hit 5:36, Alpha Element made its move, sprinting the final 110 meters to the south entrance under heavy fire from Iranian defenders entrenched behind concrete barriers. Using Mk18 CQBR carbines and a Mk48 Mod 0 machine gun to provide suppressive fire, a Ranger breacher reached the outer gate and fixed a specialized shaped charge to the lock. The resulting detonation snapped the steel doors inward, allowing Alpha to flood the entry hall with grenades and smoke. 4 Iranian defenders were killed in the initial breach, forcing the survivors to retreat deeper into the mountain's industrial maw. Simultaneously, Bravo Element reached the east entrance, finding the door partially closed as Iranian forces scrambled to block the corridor with steel carts. Bravo's Rangers utilized M249 SAW fire to clear the hallway before a breacher applied C4 to the door's lower hinge plate, creating an opening large enough for the team to enter in pairs and clear the first bend of the tunnel in under 2 minutes. At 5:40, Charlie Element completed a grueling ascent to the north entrance, which was heavily protected by wire entanglements and a guard shelter. Alerted by the sounds of battle, the Iranian guards opened fire with PKM machine guns, forcing the Rangers to take cover behind boulders. A breacher deployed dead cord to blast a gap through the wire, and as the team surged upward, a Ranger neutralized the guard shelter with an AT-4 rocket. A linear charge was then used to breach the steel door, and Charlie Element pushed inside through the settling dust. 10 minutes into the operation, the mountain had become a theater of 3 simultaneous, high-intensity indoor battles. Inside the south tunnel at 5:43, Alpha Element encountered a pair of firing pockets built into the walls, where Iranian defenders attempted to ambush the advancing Rangers. The team responded with a flanking maneuver, using an Mk48 to suppress one pocket while a grenade ended the threat from the other. Further up the passage, as a heavy blast door began to slide shut, 2 Rangers jammed a steel bar into the track and used C4 to permanently disable the mechanism, keeping the path to the production floor open. By 5:47, Bravo Element reached the primary storage corridor, a high-stakes environment where any stray fire could trigger a catastrophic explosion. 10 Iranian guards and 2 RPG teams attempted to hold a corridor bend, but Bravo utilized a side maintenance passage to outflank the position, killing 7 defenders in 90 seconds and forcing the rest back toward the main storage chamber. At 5:50, Charlie Element reached the lower power corridor, where they faced an improvised barricade of heavy tables. A shaped charge shattered the defense, and the Rangers rushed through the smoke in a close-quarters fight that lasted less than a minute, leaving 5 defenders dead and securing the path to the chemical section. Outside, Delta Element intercepted a relief force of 24 Iranian troops approaching in trucks and a light armored vehicle, destroying the lead vehicles with Javelin and M2 Browning fire and ensuring the facility remained isolated. The battle reached its zenith at 5:57 as Alpha Element burst onto the massive production floor. Under the glare of emergency lights, they found 4 assembly lines where shell bodies and rocket motors sat in various stages of completion. 24 Iranian guards engaged the Rangers from behind industrial presses and tool benches, but Alpha's coordinated movement on the catwalks and the central floor eventually broke the resistance. While many workers surrendered, the guard force continued to fight until they were overwhelmed by the Rangers' superior positioning and firepower. At 6:01, Bravo element entered the main storage chamber, discovering 18 guards and 8 technicians, some of whom were desperately trying to rig the ammunition stacks with explosives to blow the entire level. Bravo acted with lethal speed, clearing the center lanes and preventing the demolition. They then breached a rear blast gate to find a reserve chamber containing an additional 58,000 rounds. A wounded Iranian officer's attempt to ignite a fuse line was stopped by a ranger's marksman-like shot just seconds before the flame reached the cord. By 6:04, Charlie Element had secured the chemical section, where 16 chemists and 10 guards were found near the mixing tanks. 2 guards reaching for emergency release levers, which could have vented toxic gases, were neutralized by shotgun blast and rifle fire. Charlie quickly secured the control panels and moved to the lower command center, where the last 8 Iranian guards had barricaded themselves behind office furniture. A 2-pronged attack, including a flanking move through a side hall, resulted in the capture of the surviving defenders. By 6:08, the Rangers held firm footholds on all 3 levels of the complex, having fractured the Iranian defense into isolated pockets. At 6:21, with all primary objectives secured, specialized demolition teams began the systematic destruction of the facility. Thermite charges were placed on hydraulic pumps, loading rails, and machine tools, while larger stacks of ammunition were rigged for a rolling burn to prevent a single, unmanageable explosion. C4 was wired into the power cabinets and chemical pump systems below. Despite a final, desperate attempt by 26 Iranian reinforcements to breach the east slope at 6:26, the Rangers held their ground, breaking the attack with a devastating crossfire. The withdrawal began at 6:30, with Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie elements moving out of the smoke-filled tunnels with 28 prisoners and bags of captured intelligence material. 2 Rangers were assisted out of the facility due to injuries, but the commitment to leave no one behind was strictly maintained. At 6:38, the demolition sequence was initiated. The thermite began its slow, white-hot burn through the production machinery, followed by the rhythmic cooking off of thousands of artillery rounds. The mountain itself seemed to groan under the internal pressure as explosions ripped through the storage chambers and shattered the command center, ultimately causing sections of the south entrance to collapse. At 6:43, 4 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters arrived to extract the force, and by 6:48, all 78 Rangers were airborne and heading west. Iranian reinforcements arriving at 6:55 found only a scene of absolute devastation: collapsed tunnels, burning bunkers, and the charred remains of their manufacturing capability. The cost of the raid was severe, with the U.S. Army suffering 2 killed and 9 wounded, while Iranian losses totaled 79 killed, 43 wounded, and 28 captured. The financial and strategic impact was even greater, with the destruction of 168,000 rounds of ammunition and facility infrastructure valued at approximately $186 million. In just 78 minutes, the U.S. Army Rangers had dismantled a site that was thought to be impregnable, proving that even the strongest mountain defense cannot withstand the precision and lethality of a determined elite force. Would you like me to analyze the strategic implications of this munitions loss on regional stability?